Thrifting ain't easy, unless you're watching me. Welcome back to the Thrift Store Rundown's Operation Date on a Dime, where if you're dating yourself, as I do, way too often, or if you're planning on sharing this Valentine's Day with someone special, we're giving you the tools you need to do V-Day right. And of course we're doing that by bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Now it's on to our therapy date. I'm pretty sure you've heard YouTube relationship expert, and I use that term loosely, Shallon Lester, say that nobody wants to date their therapist. I've also heard Detective Stabler on an episode of Law & Order SVU one time say that when a therapist has sex with a patient, that's a third-degree felony. I'm pretty sure the two should cancel each other out if your therapist just so happens to be Jennifer Love Hewitt. I mean, if she was your therapist, you wouldn't want to go all the way with her unless she tells you to. Otherwise, you would be committing a crime. But tell me you wouldn't want to date Jennifer Love Hewitt, or at the very least, have her around for any and all dates you embark on. For good or bad, or if it ever goes up to this level, for better or worse. We've all had bad dates in the past, yet I'm pretty sure a few of us actually sought therapy after those dates. Today we're gonna give it to you in hardcover form, with her debut novel, The Day I Shot Cupid. Hello, my name is Jennifer Love Hewitt, and I'm a loveaholic. I mean, her name was inspired by a girl that her brother Todd had a crush on, and he just went with it. And the name fits hand in glove. This was released on March 23rd, 2010 from Voice, and I wouldn't blame anyone over there if they released it on February 14th. And was concocted out of two primary motivations: her love life being so skewered by the press, and her real-life experiences with boyfriends past, including JK, to whom this book is dedicated to, among others, for being a great partner and her real truth. JK at the time stood for Jamie Kennedy, for the uninitiated. If you won't take Jamie Kennedy's word, and he does provide a few words in edgewise throughout this book, then why don't you take J-Love's word for it?
Hi, Jennifer Love Hewitt. I'm here on the set of Ghost Whisperer. The reason that I wrote the book, The Day I Shot Cupid, is a lot of my dating life has been written by other people, and I wanted sort of the chance to give my real opinions and thoughts on dating and romance and men and women, and I really sort of wanted it to be kind of a companion that people could take with them, and they would sort of feel like I was maybe there as a friend to kind of go, oh my gosh, let me tell you about the time that happened to me too. I liked being able to write the book as somebody who was dating and who was broken up with and who was going to get married and who that didn't work out, and then now finds herself in another relationship and is really sort of trying to figure out how that's going to work and what that's going to mean in life and where that's going to go. One of the last things that I wrote is actually the opening of the book. And I had always thought, as a hopeless romantic and a loveaholic myself, that Cupid was like this cute little guy in a diaper with these arrows who sort of brought me my perfect man, and there were symphonies, and it was great. And what I really found out is that Cupid is actually sort of this evil little guy. And so I sort of shot Cupid in my mind in order to go and find out what real romance was and what real love was, and to sort of stop living in a fantasy world. A loveaholic is also somebody who's seen a lot of romantic comedies and thinks that those moments are really going to happen in real life. And a loveaholic is somebody who eventually gets a wake-up call. I'm probably a lot like they are. Everyone who's dating, no matter how old you are, where you live, what your lifestyle is, whatever it is, we're all sort of doing the same thing, which is trying to live our lives connected to someone that might be special. And so I feel like they will understand me and where I'm going, and they will feel like they have sort of a kindred spirit as they're reading the book. Looking for love just like you are. The book is called The Day I Shot Cupid. Comes out March 23rd. It would fill my heart so much if you would buy the book and read it and know that I am just like you. Lots of love.
Here are a couple of things to note in this book, which I picked up for less than $2 for American 30%. We don't know the exact price because they don't put price tags on books very often, but the benchmark is at $2 as always. A comparison between the old school and new school methods of dating. First, a phone call. When a guy asked for your phone number and just couldn't wait until the next day to call, he was peachy, dreamy, and so cute. If the guy calls the next day now, well, guess what? He's desperate, hard up, or a stalker. If he waits a while to call, he's a player, man whoring himself out to skates. Or, quote, he's just not that into you. Of course, that's directly taken from the title of a book and movie with Jennifer Aniston, Jennifer Connelly, an all-star cast, which I'll talk about pretty soon. The old school and new school methods for going out to dinner, or really paying for dinner. And old school and new school methods for romance. Here's an old school, new school method that I don't think she mentions in here. Being a nice guy. In the past, if you were a nice guy, just doing everything by the book, wooing her, sweeping her off her feet with how nice and chivalrous and generous and kind you are, yeah, you were marriage material. You probably would have made the pages of Reminisce magazine with your nice love story. Nowadays, if you're too nice of a nice guy, you end up serving a long time in what I like to call the institution for the intimately challenged, aka the friend zone. The horrible, horrible friend zone.
Do you usually put nice guys in the friend zone?
To be honest, they actually do usually end up in the friend zone. I don't want a bad boy, but the simply...
Are you sure?
No, the simply boys, they usually end up being in the friend zone, yeah.
Okay, what do you think about it?
Yeah, like to be honest, yeah, like I don't want like a horrible guy, but I don't want like I usually if a guy is just too nice to me, I'll just usually put him in the friend zone. If he just moves too quickly, then for me personally, that's a put off.
Something to consider because that is a pathetic double standard. To keep this short and sweet, I want to highlight a few lists towards the end of this book. 10 things to do before a date. Going from 1, always buy a new top or dress. It will make you feel like $1,000,000. Well, I wouldn't say always, but every so often. All the way going down to number 10. Have a long conversation with yourself. This is not a marriage, it's a first date. And 10 things not to do before a date. Don't watch romantic comedies, they won't be that amazing. And going down to number 10, don't worry if it's 15 minutes late. Hello, does anyone consider traffic? I mean, the 101 freeway doesn't really stop for Valentine's dates. 5 things he should say on a date. From 1, you're hilarious, to 5, your friends didn't do you justice in the beauty department. 5 things you should not say on a date. 1, I can see us spending the rest of our lives together. Yeah, that's a little bit up there, way too forward. And 5, I'm not so good at relationships. If you're not so good at relationships, you shouldn't be dating, period. Go back to dating school. Watch Blind Date for all I care. That is your dating school right there. 10 hardcore truths about men, which wasn't fun to learn, but once you know these things, it all gets easier to deal with. You get where we're going with this? Without any photos in here, save for the back cover, I think you can see where she's going with this. Throughout this book, she carries a girlfriendish conversational tone, as if you would like to have her as a bestie in hardcover form that you could put in your designer handbag or wherever is most convenient for you when you're out on a date, or just dating yourself at home. But her tips and tricks for finding the one you want and fixing the one you got, to quote Dr. Phil, are also practical. Well, 98% of the time. Like letting your guard down ever so slightly on a first and second date, and subsequent dates thereafter. And of course, doing away with any and all technology as you're connecting with the love of your life or the love of your life elect. And it's all distilled down into top 10 tips, top 5 tips. So you get a good summary and a good gist of what this book is about. And these clever illustrations of Cupid and all of his deputies along with J-Love, they just accentuate everything in here. And this, of course, is the book where the term vajazzling was born. And what is vajazzling? It's bejeweling a woman's, shall we say, sacred ground with jewels. If I was a woman, I would probably want to dine on dead moths before doing that. Sorry, but I just had to say it. All in all, it's a pretty nifty book, and I say the back cover here definitely ups the attractive factor by, let's say, about a 9.5. But I can't give 9.5 or even 10. You know me, the maximum is 5 claps. And since that's the only photo in the book, or really on either side of the cover, I'm giving this 4.5 out of 5 claps. It's still a pretty fun, breezy, and definitely practical read for this Valentine's Day and beyond. I mean, she shot her shot, but didn't shoot the sheriff of love. If she did, then she wouldn't be a married mother of 3 right now, because I consider shooting Cupid a federal hate crime. Still, a book by any other author going by any other middle name wouldn't feel as sweet. Shoot your shot responsibly. Trust J-Love. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the flip side.